You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty.
What's up with these clowns, man?
Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with that.
1 fucking year.
1 year, man. We fucking made it. 56 episodes later.
That's more than one a week. So we've been putting in extra duty.
Cranking them away with those bonus content episodes.
Fucking interviews. Fucking crossover episodes.
Hell yeah, man. We've been pretty productive. I'm pretty proud of what we've accomplished in 1 year.
Hell yeah. And then podcast movement just happened. Learning how to take it to the next level.
Yeah. A lot to expect out of year 2, man.
Hell yeah, and we're happy to have you along with us.
Fuck yeah. Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Jesse. And we're like babies now. We're like a year old.
1 year. Just a wee little thing.
Little podcast babies. And these babies need to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters.
Hell yeah. Let's start out. First off, Dave Gunn. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, and Kyle, Noel, and Bradford from the Crime Roulette podcast. Thank you guys.
Aaron W. of Yes and I Am.
That's another great podcast that you guys should definitely check out. So what do we got coming up in the show?
As always, we're going to start off with our bizarre news. And then we're going to move along to the green corner, which we're going to talk a lot about the Mayweather-Mcgregor fight. And then we're going to finish it up with some tech. So stick around.
Yeah, and with our weird news, we always like to start out with some weed news. This time, we're talking about teen marijuana use and how it has fallen to a 20-year low, defying legalization opponents' predictions. Now, this is a statistic-heavy article. It's a lot of percentages and stuff like that, so I'll be sure to post it up on the Facebook page. But the basic takeaway is that in 2016, rates of marijuana use among the nation's 12 to 17-year-olds dropped to their lowest level in more than 2 decades, according to a federal survey released this week. And that was the week of it was earlier this week in September.
That's crazy, and one of the biggest fears is with legalizing more and more, that the use would go up at a skyrocketed rate.
Yeah, that's always what the opponents say is, if you legalize marijuana or if you do medical use, that it's going to get into the hands of kids more. But statistics are showing that that's not true. Last year, 6.5% of adolescents used marijuana on a monthly basis, according to the latest National Drug Survey on Drug Use and Health. That represents a statistically significant drop from 2014, when the nation's first recreational marijuana shops in Washington and Colorado opened.
That's
last time monthly teens marijuana use was this low was in 1994.
Wow. Back in the 90s, man. 94, Nirvana was big, right?
Yeah, right? Got all that flannel. So, fucking, it's interesting to see that the statistics are representing a drop in teens being able to get a hold of marijuana when it's been legalized in so many places and decriminalized and all that.
Yeah, because I bet it's a lot because of a lot of the dealers are dropping out too, because they can't make money when it's a legal object in the state and it's going for good rates. Maybe that's part
absolutely.
of it.
So this came out of the Washington Post, and like I said, I'll post it up there. It's very statistics heavy. It's 20.8%, and adults ages 26 to 34, 14.5%. So I'm not going to bore you and rattle them all off. If you're really that interested, we'll have it up on our Facebook page for you.
Man, one of my favorite things to do after smoking a fat doobie, going to an aquarium.
Oh yeah, that's a nice place to chill.
Yeah, man. Now imagine having an aquarium with sharks, no less, in your basement.
That's a short walk after smoking that doobie.
Dude, fucking dreams, man. Man can dream. Well, officers of the DEC in LaGrangeville, New York, had recently found that one person, we don't know male or female or how many people, had lived the dream when they had an above ground pool installed in their basement and had sharks actually inside of it.
How many sharks we talking?
Apparently, there was a fair amount, and it was only a 15-foot pool, too, so it's pretty small. And inside it has 7 live sandbar sharks, and also it had 2 dead leopard sharks and 1 dead hammerhead.
Oh, they didn't take them out? Just floating around in there?
Just floating around, hanging out, man. Sad stories.
Surprised those other sharks didn't go at it.
Hammerhead will be my prize, man. And all these sharks were about 2 to 4 foot long, too, so they were pretty decent sized.
Yeah, that's a fair-sized shark to have in your basement, let alone like 7 or 8 of them.
Fuck yeah, man. Oh my god, it's so cool to me. Well, it wasn't too cool to the DEC. They're, about to charge the person with harboring illegal wildlife, which is definitely a pretty big deal.
And this happened in close to our home area.
In the Hudson Valley.
Right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Not a short drive. Probably, 45 minutes from our hometown?
Right. Fucking, it reminds me of a story on our first episode where they had the illegal gator ring
Oh, man.
that we were proposing because they found the gators in people's basements. Now it's sharks.
Now
When's
it's
it gonna
sharks, man.
stop?
Dude, intimidation factor. Again, I'll bring it back. Exactly. Bring it a round trip. Right to the very beginning. This wasn't used. You just bring somebody down to the basement and you say, I'll make you disappear. I'll feed you to my sharks.
We got a bunch of them. Yes, some are dead and floating there. It's not a big deal. Well, the live ones will take care of you. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be too scared because if they're not gonna eat the dead shark floating around, what's gonna fucking make them jump?
True. Well, all the sharks have been taken away. They're being brought to Long Island. They're at the Long Island Aquarium, actually. And they're getting checked up to make sure they're all healthy. And then they're going to be probably shipped off, to be kept in captivity for the rest of their lives.
Surprised that guy didn't release them in the Hudson River.
Oh, man, the ultimate plan. Until there's reports of, dead sharks everywhere because it's fresh water and they can't survive in it.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is that the reason the other sharks died in the pool? Like, were they saltwater sharks and it was a freshwater above ground pool?
Well, no, all these sharks are salt water. So, I don't know. Maybe something was up in the tank. Fucking god, the plastic was probably emitting into the pool, killing them.
He's probably just pouring in bags of Epsom salt.
And chlorine, too. He's like, oh, I gotta keep it sanitized.
Damn. Well, people might find sharks washing up in Florida after Hurricane Irma. We hope everyone's staying safe
Fuck
throughout
yeah.
these storms that are coming up. Some big ones.
Yeah, fucking Irma's the size of the fucking Texas itself, isn't it? It's insane.
Yeah, very true. So Hurricane Irma is gunning for the Florida coast, and Florida gun owners are being encouraged to shoot at the storm with their firearms.
That seems logical. You get a wounded,
A Florida man who was kind of bored and a little aggravated just from the stress of the event, he decided to make a Facebook group that he called Shoot at Hurricane Irma. And he got a lot of response about it. He got over 46,000 people signing it up to join in to the ensuing battle between the storm and firearms.
Oh yeah, well a lot of people are really upset with weather right now. It's been crazy, after the hurricane that destroyed Texas. It's like, come on, another one.
They're lashing out at this storm. There's a great graphic here that we'll be sure to post up on our social media somewhere. It shows the weak point of the storm and where you don't want to shoot and where you do want to shoot. So you want to shoot to the rain bands because there's a weak point at the center, but you can only get to it by shooting through the rain bands is what it looks like.
Haha.
This is also in light of another Facebook event where they're trying to point all the fans that they can at the hurricane to blow it away.
Okay.
You get enough fans going in one direction.
You just put them all in one direction. It's just gonna fucking counter it. Push it over to Europe. It's their problem now.
It's lit, fan. Hashtag Hurricane Irma.
Uh,
So yeah, hopefully everyone's staying safe. I don't suggest you fire guns into the storm. It's just gonna come right back at you.
oh my god.
Gonna whip around.
Whip around, man. Well, I'm looking at an image of our next story here, and the doors have been blown off this car, but not by the hurricane.
Not Mother Nature this time around?
It's not Mother Nature this time. It's somebody's mother, possibly. In south end of Essex, a Ford Focus's doors were blown apart, blown right off the car. The whole car is just like, it looks like it was opened like a sardine can type deal. And apparently what happened in this car was there was a ton of air fresheners in there, and a few had been leaking. Now, somebody hopped in the car and lit a cigarette and blew this motherfucker up.
Oh, shit.
But at least it smelled good. That's the thing. It probably smelled real fresh in there. The only thing I'm wondering is, how did you not notice it was leaking? I'm sure like you got some of the aerosol like smell too.
Right? It must have, I'm wondering if it was like pressed under a seat or something, just going off. They're like, it smells really good in this car.
I knew I liked that spray. Boom! My God. Luckily,
we had another story.
Yeah, the
like
grill.
Where, yeah, the propane was leaking and they lit the cigarette.
Yeah, see, that's like, I feel like more understandable. It's like, how the fuck do you blow your car up this bad? I feel like we're gonna definitely post this picture up in the weekly photos, because it's insane, the damage from an air freshener can. I can't fucking believe it. The roof is lifted off.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much that could actually blow fucking pieces of the car outward.
I could show this car to somebody and be like, yeah, the Incredible Hulk just had his way with that car, and it's believable.
Yeah, it looks like he changed in the driver's seat, stuck in traffic, getting pissed. The Hulk just like, I
told you wouldn't like me when I'm mad.
Bust out the doors, bust out the roof.
Just came out the fucking windshield altogether.
That was just a bad decision on her part. When the air freshener's going, don't light the cig. Step outside.
Step outside. Yeah. Be safe.
You gotta make tough decisions around cars. You gotta remember they're large pieces of equipment. Can't be under the influence. Fucking operating these things. Smoking a cig, lighting it up, blowing your shit up. It's harrowing. And in our next story, there's an even, I would say, equally harrowing tale. This is straight out of an action movie.
Okay, I like action movies.
We have a driver who's forced to gun their engine and jump a rising drawbridge. He's got his family in the back. He's looking like Arnold.
You got to get over the bridge!
He's laying on that pedal to the metal. So yeah,
I thought you were going to say laying on that meth and then the pedal. I was like, oh, well, that explains it.
Well, that would do it. No, yeah. He had paid the toll to cross the bridge when unexpectedly a ship started passing under the section that lifts, and they didn't have any communications with the boat, so like they don't want the bridge to get taken out. So they start to lift the bridge as he's on it, and he's freaking out. God. He has his wife in the car. She's freaking out. They're like, we're either going to end up going backwards and having this car flatten us, or I need to gun this. So he made an executive decision, and he accelerated. And he landed with a big impact on the concrete on the other side. And the vehicle had some minor damage, but no one was hurt. I wonder, they didn't say what he was driving, but I'd be very interested to know what kind of car that was, because if it can take a jump...
Honda Odyssey minivan.
Yeah,
top
right.
Line.
I'm surprised the airbags didn't go off when you do a landing like that.
I know, dude. Like your motor just like straight compacts to the ground.
Yeah,
sparks are flying.
It's not like every car's built like a rally car to take like fucking that kind of damage.
Yeah, definitely not. No, you fucking break your suspension real quick.
The
New shocks and struts.
The man says he would never cross that bridge again.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. They fucking lift it up on you. Should be like a stop sign. You gotta wait for the traffic to clear, and then it goes up.
Right? He's a hell of a decision maker, because you can't freeze up in that kind of moment.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to freeze up in that fucking moment. Another moment you don't want to freeze up in is when you're pulling a B&E. All right? And
breaking and entering for our legitimate listeners out there.
The people that are, streetwise and all that. And the two fools in our next story, they had nobody was going to break their stride, because they had a mission. And it's a funny story, because they use an instrument that they get from a first B&E at a house. So let me give you the backstory. 24-year-old Zachary and 26-year-old Eric of Manchester break into a house in Tallinn, Connecticut. The first thing they find is a bat, and they take this bat and they go to the next house, and they break into this house with the bat through the window and all that. Then they steal a laptop, a purse, and alcohol. But the real reason they were there is because they got a sugar tooth. They got the sweet tooth. They're after it. The top portion of a wedding cake from the homeowner's freezer.
Oh, fucking vandals.
Dude, these heartless sons of bitches.
Stealing memories is what they're stealing.
I feel like you just... How could you do that? That's soulless.
You fucked up a tradition.
Like, a wedding cake, man, they were saving that. Like, they didn't even want to eat it themselves, the top of it. They were like, we're going to keep that forever. We're just going to have a special freezer just for that cake.
You're supposed... I think the tradition, you're supposed to have, like, at least a bite or something on, like, the first year of marriage, like, first year anniversary.
Oh, is that really? How do you keep that cake for a year?
Some stale-ass cake.
I'm not eating that cake. Fuck that cake. I'll pay somebody to break in and steal it.
Yo, imagine how old that cake must have been that they ate.
Oh, you imagine? Like, it's just been there. It's like 14 years old.
They're probably drunk as fuck or something.
They had to have been on something, because as soon as the homeowner confronted them, they just ran into the woods. They were just like, we're out.
Like, oh shit! They got, like, cake all over them.
Yeah,
their fucking fingers.
Yeah, oh my god,
bat,
bro.
like, tucked under their
one of them's
arm.
got a beard. I can just imagine, like, frosted matched all in his beard.
I also find it interesting that they only took the baseball bat
from the first
house. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I don't get.
It's like, we'll take the baseball bat from this house here. We'll go across the street and break into that house. It's like, why wouldn't you just break into the house that you took the baseball bat from?
Maybe the house they broke into for the baseball bat was like an open door. It wasn't really even like a B&E. They just walked in and they were like, haha. They just started it.
Then they didn't even need the baseball bat because they ran. It's not like they even used it for protection when the homeowner confronted them.
No, these aren't the computational
fucking
types.
Criminals.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, now they're both sitting in jail on a $100,000 bail, facing charges including home invasion and burglary. So they're going nowhere fast. And no more cake for you fucks, because they don't serve that in prison.
Tradition theft, memory burglary.
There should be an added charge for, like, destruction of, like an irreplaceable, like, piece of, like, property. I mean, I don't know.
You're better off putting a number on that. It said that memory cost $1 million to me. That's how much damage was inflicted.
That little cake, that was about $250,000 to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Had the fucking cake boss making cake.
Oh my god, imagine. So, that would be even worse.
That wraps up our news for this episode, but we do have a funny clip that we want to tell you guys about. It's a pole vault gone wrong is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and those fucking things are scary, man. Oh, I'm terrified of those. You'll never catch me at a pole vaulting event.
Pole vaults very easily become javelins when flexed and fucking
20-foot spears.
Just keep your children out of the back fucking rows of the viewing area there.
Yeah, but they're always they lead to good clips. And this clip's golden.
So we entitled this one Boing or Boing. So we'll post that up on our Facebook page. That's American Slacker Podcast on Facebook, and go check that out because we're always posting funny shit.
Hell yeah! Now it's time to step into the fucking green corner. Fight! God damn, was that a good fight? A lot of people are talking shit, man.
Yeah, there's things I took away from it that I enjoyed. We're referring to the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight that just happened, the money fight, as people refer to it as.
Hell yeah! It's most likely going to break all the records for pay-per-view buyouts that's still being projected right now. Dana White says it's probably around $650 million in sales.
And if you don't want to contribute to that and you still want to see it, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. People who were in the crowd, taped the entire event. So
that's one of the things too. Another thing is they're really pissed off because apparently millions of people illegally watched it through illegal streams. So that's a shit ton of revenue loss.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think Dana White's getting a cut of that as well?
Oh, of the pay-per-view buys?
Yeah, or well,
yeah.
at least some of the income.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, fighters are definitely getting a good chunk of the pay-per-view buyouts, but there's a lot to pay out from that money in itself.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone involved is losing.
Yeah. Well, the fucking watcher, like, if you're watching and paying that $100 to fucking get the pay-per-view, it's insane. I mean,
yeah,
that's a hell of a price for one.
We were in Anaheim
night.
when the fight was going on.
Bars were sold out with $30 cover charges.
30. I think one was 40 also. Like, jeez.
Yeah, it's insane. And people do it. I mean, you want to see this fight. This fight is legendary. It's going to be remembered forever. And, you know, I think Conor did a hell of a job performing. He landed 111 strikes against Mayweather, which nobody saw that coming, holding up against the greatest boxer of all time.
I mean, yeah, I knew it would be a good fight no matter what. The one thing that I really learned about myself from this fight is that I don't like watching boxing.
Yeah, we had a discussion about this earlier. It's not the same beast that MMA is. It's pretty slow paced. The guys are wearing these gloves that really you can't get the power shots out. And that was really one of Conor's problems, is he thought he was going to go out there and use all the power. And those gloves prohibit you from really getting the full use of your power. And
yeah, those were big gloves, big chunky gloves, and it was a lot of slapping, essentially.
Those were 2 ounces lighter than they would have been, too, because they agreed upon a specialty weight glove. So it could have been even worse, man. And Conor's not used to that at all. MMA gloves are they're a lot
tiny,
more condensed. You know, that's why it leads to knockouts quicker in 2 rounds, 3 rounds. And I've heard studies that it's actually better for the fighters because the boxing gloves allow you to hit a person more, so it's a lot more repercussions on the brain bouncing around inside your skull.
I could see that, and that was a thought that crossed my mind too, watching the fight, was how they're essentially, there are very few body shots. When there were body shots, they did land, but most of the shots, even the ones that were dodged or missed, were going for the head.
Yeah. It was definitely Conor was really focused on the head too. Honestly, I can't get over that he landed 111 shots and Pacquiao only landed 81, and he's got the most strikes on Floyd out of any fighter.
But one could say the reason he landed so many, that because he landed so many strikes like that is the reason that he gassed himself out and got was it a technical knockout? Because he didn't.
It was a TKO. Because he didn't drop. He was exhausted at the end. He stumbled backwards a little bit, but he was just exhausted because he wore himself out with too much movement in the first half of the fight.
And I think it was around round 6 that I started to see Mayweather come out a little bit more from the defensive position and start to land strikes on him because, all right, he's tired himself out.
Yeah, I'd say even earlier you could see pre-tail signs of that coming out. You know, Mayweather was really guarded in the first 3, and then he'd start poking out and hitting shots. I was I knew you could see what was going on right away. Mayweather was pacing himself because he knew what Conor was going to do, and Conor was just moving constantly, and that just leads to an energy drain that you can't keep up with, especially when he's not trained to be fighting this many rounds like this.
Yeah, and I saw him doing a lot of the sort of hug and hit, which was almost reminiscent of an MMA move where you get
trying to clinch him.
Yeah, get him in the clinch and give him the uppercuts a couple times.
Well, he didn't. He landed quite a few good uppercuts, which I was like, damn, But Floyd ate them like they were nothing. They were candy.
The ref had to keep separating them. They kept getting close, and I felt like that was his MMA training kind of kicking in, where he's like, I know I can get that shot, but he knows he's not supposed to, so he's just riding that line.
And he's also trying to conserve his energy, because in MMA, that's how you actually recoup, is you clinch up, you hold the guy, and you come to the standstill for a second. In boxing, they don't really allow that at all. But I mean, he took this fight on 3 months, preparation. That's it. From what it was announced, it was 3 months until it was going to happen. That's an insane amount, an insanely short amount of time to prepare to fight the greatest boxer of all time when you've never been in a professional boxing match in general.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing to just sort of isolate one aspect of your training and be like, all right, go only fight someone with your hands.
Yeah, and you can see it in his stance. He still had an MMA stance. It was more, the legs are a lot more spread out than a boxer's. He had a very unorthodox fighting style, and that's pretty much why he did so well. The mistiming of his punches and the different actual swing form, it really benefited him coming from that, a different game.
Yeah, it definitely sort of threw Mayweather a couple of times in terms of how he moved, because I don't think he was Conor had a couple of good dodges in there that were very clearly he knew where he was throwing it. But in the end, Mayweather played it smart, and that's I think why he's gotten this far with his record.
50-1, yeah. He Jesus Christ, 50-0 is insane. It's ridiculous. Make your career
was
that
the
long.
50th or was it the 51st?
That's the 50th. I heard a boxer, I don't know the name off the top of my head, I heard a boxer did retire with a 51-0 in one draw, though.
Oh, one draw.
So there is somebody that technically has a record, but he has that draw, which is kind of weird. So I guess, Floyd takes the cake because he doesn't have any draws. But I mean, so many people were talking shit about Conor going into this fight, and even after, but Max Kellerman, one of the biggest commentators of boxing, said that Conor wouldn't land a single punch on Floyd, and he had to go out and recoup his statement and apologize, basically.
It's a ridiculous statement. People go overboard with what they say, and it's they're clearly not being realistic in that being their opinion of how the fight would go. It's what do you mean he's not gonna land a fucking punch? Have you ever seen any of his MMA fights?
Yeah, right.
He's gonna land a punch. If you want to talk logistically about if he will win via strategy, power, timing, that kind of stuff, then have that conversation. But yeah, so many people just want to get their fucking comments in.
Yeah, fucking everybody's got something to say. Even Snoop Dogg chimed in and was talking all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
I don't know if you had a chance.
I did hear that. Snoop Dogg was fucking calling Conor out after the fight, saying yeah, you don't bring that shit, blah blah blah. And then at the end, he kind of
bitch, Conor.
He does have heart though.
Yeah. He recouped his statement. What the fuck are you doing, guy? He realized he's fucked up.
But that was odd. The real winners in all of this are Mayweather and McGregor for the payouts.
Yeah, man. Fucking, you're talking. McGregor pulled out about $70 million, whereas Mayweather's probably walking around with north of $200 million.
Jeez. And I mean, I know Mayweather's got some debts to pay off, but he also has some ballin' ass cars and shit too.
Well, yeah. Apparently, from what I heard, his taxes they're around $5 million that he owes the IRS for. When you make that kind of money, they want a good chunk.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're keeping your books.
But he could pay that at any moment, especially after the money he took home from this alone. And I mean, those numbers are just estimates at this point. We're talking they went out there covered and labeled, so they got sponsorship money coming in. The pay-per-view buys are gonna
whose
keep
shorts
coming.
did you like?
Yeah. Is that a
gold?
reference? Oh yeah, I thought we were talking about the lovely pre-fight interview where or the fight conference where Conor had the boner.
Oh well, that's a whole other conversation too. But yeah, I was specifically asking because McGregor had what looked almost like Greek fighting tights, or shorts where it was old gold and then white. But then Mayweather's I could see from fucking space, because those things were diamond encrusted, black and gold, I think.
Yeah, I know. Fucking got to show off for the biggest pay-per-view of all time, man. Got to go out there.
It was crazy.
Hell yeah. But I mean, they delivered. They were smart. They're businessmen in general. On top of being fighters, they did what they did and made a fortune off of this fight. And they were buddy after. It was ridiculous.
Well, of course, they just made tons of money together.
Yeah.
But
I'd be pretty happy walking away with
you mentioned before the pre-shows were a show in their own.
Oh yeah, the conferences and the all the interviews they did and talking shit about each other.
Oh yeah. It was, and especially, I love the fact that, like, sometimes, like, when not to reference video games, but when I played Fable, I played it in reverse order, because I didn't get the chance to play them when they came out, and people said, oh, that's a great way to play it, because it's, like, best, like, going in reverse order. That's sort of, what, like, I liked about watching the McGregor-Mayweather fight, and then watching the pre-conference stuff, because fucking Conor McGregor's talking so much shit. And you know he's gonna lose already.
If there's one thing, that kid is good at talking, man. McGregor is the best shit talker in all of entertainment.
Yeah, it's funny to watch it knowing that he didn't win. So he's like calling everyone a bitch on Mayweather's team.
Oh my god, the part where Mayweather was like asking one of his dudes to like grab a check out of the bag. He carries a check that's like for $1 million or something. And McGregor was like, yeah, do what you're told, bitch. I died.
Yeah, there were some great, like, memes that came out of that shit. And, like, I was watching one yesterday where he went over to the crowd on the side of the boxing ring during one of the press conferences and pointed out, like, two of Mayweather's lackeys and was like, you two are fucking juice heads. And he walked over to fucking Mayweather and was like, I can't believe you fucking pay these idiots.
Just tearing apart his whole crew.
And he called another dude a fucking weasel and told him to sit down and shut up and asked him what he was going to do. And he's like, yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Mayweather went full bully. I wonder if any of that, like, fueled Mayweather. Or
I'm sure. He kept his cool for the most part.
Yeah. I didn't see him flip out once. He laughed more than he fucking, like, got pissed.
Yeah, because I think he just knew, you know, I mean, you're not going to come into this guy's sport that he's been doing for years upon years and fucking just be perfect, you know?
Well, it was interesting. It was like the Zen master versus, like, the loud and cocky new, like, fucking newly trained master.
Oh, being put up against the test, yeah. If anybody's going to rattle your cage, it's going to be Conor McGregor. I mean,
right?
He knows how to get to the core.
Because he was trying. Oh, my God, he was trying. He was saying some horrendous shit.
Yeah.
Walking around the ring with a mic like he owns the place.
Oh, my God. I love the strut that Conor admits when he's, like, walking around talking shit. Just swinging the shoulders.
If you haven't seen any of the pre-fight stuff, even if you don't see the fight, watch the pre-fight stuff. Because it's really entertaining, just like in terms of... we were saying before that it reminded us of, like, wrestling.
Yeah, it's straight drama. Yeah, it's straight up like it's almost scripted, the drama these guys are getting into these days. You know, like it brings their outside life into the whole showbiz of it.
And that bleeds into the MMA world as well, with UFC and the rivalries that happen and who's getting promoted and who isn't.
Yeah, it's insane. It's becoming like a little bit soap opera-ish when they really include all this shit. It's funny. People are eating it up.
Now, during one of these press conferences, McGregor definitely had a boner.
He definitely showed the boner beginning. He pumped himself up and like all of a sudden it was like, whoa, that dude's packing.
He like rushed his dick full of blood in front of like 1,000 cameras.
Yeah, well, ESPN Live.
It was during the weigh-in, right?
Yeah, it was the pre-fight weigh-in, the last one.
And he ran off, and Mayweather was laughing.
Either way, man, this paves the way. We're gonna see a lot more crossovers, I'm thinking. I heard a boxer's about to come over to the UFC. We'll see.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Some important guy too. I'm not a boxing fan though, so
better strengthen those legs for the kicks.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Fucking A, man. Oof. There's nothing like a leg kick.
So now we're going from people fighting in the ring to some interesting technology involving fighting. Technology. So with our tech segment, we like talking about interesting things going on in technology, and the first thing we're starting off with is Elon Musk leading a panel of 116 experts calling for the outright ban of killer robots.
Oh, fuck killer robots.
That's what Elon Musk is saying too.
There's no place for him here, man. This is our planet.
He's quoted as saying, "We do not have long to act. Once Pandora's box is opened, it will be hard to close." And I guess his main fear is that if governments start using robots in like military forms, which I mean we already kind of do with drones if you think about it, that he says, you know, terrorists or like other bad groups with ill intent will reprogram these machines to do things that they weren't intended for.
Yeah.
So if we just don't make them in the first place, we won't have to worry necessarily about what they're referring to as third revolution in warfare. After gunpowder and nuclear arms, we have killer robots.
I feel like we're already past that point, though. Like, it's like AI is everywhere, and it's obviously connected through network. So, I mean, it's like it only takes one bad seed to reprogram all the other ones.
Oh, well, you'd have to have someone program a computer to reprogram.
Intent harm?
Yeah, to reprogram other computers to intend harm.
Well, I'm saying, like, when we get to the level of, like, where AI is self-fixing and, like, way past where we are. God knows if it's out there already. I mean, there's definitely possibilities, man, of, like, transmitting to outdated technology.
The thing that I've always understood about AI is that it only does what you tell it to do. So until we actually tell, and I think that's what Elon Musk is trying to stop here, is if we don't tell robots to, or machines to do that in the first place, then we won't have to worry about it being abused.
Okay. So it's pretty much don't tell it it can kill you and you're good.
yeah, exactly. It's like, a goldfish doesn't know that it's swimming in water. It just exists in water because that's all it knows.
Yeah, it doesn't know it's wet. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's ethical like things that kind of go against the idea of AI, because once something is sentient or understands its like place in like the world as like a being, is it unethical to keep them doing a task over and over and over and over, you know?
True. Is it what part does it become slavery?
And yeah, exactly. So it's an interesting piece. It's on The Guardian. We're going to post it up on our Facebook, as we do with a lot of our interesting articles. But I'm trusting Elon on this one. Elon, I have this theory, I've never seen him in the same room as Batman, and he's building underground tunnels. If
there was a real life Bruce Wayne, Elon Musk would be the man. He'd have an archive there.
And it would have to be like
Musk Technologies.
It'd have to be like the Batman from the Superman versus Batman, with like all the extra gear and shit.
Yeah, fucking mecha suit, straight, all kinds of ridiculous tech.
Mecha Musk.
The Musk Mobile.
So look out for a Mecha Musk coming near you. It's gonna have laser arms and missiles that fire out of its face.
Oh, God. Scary. Killer robots, though. Scary fucking robots, man. Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Fuck. Let's move along to robots that are not so scary. So, the highlight of our next story is basically the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, Switzerland. They're working on a project right now in a laboratory, a robotics laboratory. Robots that build houses. And currently their project is one that can build a house 3 stories tall, which is really ridiculous. So right now they're in the process of making it so these robots can be in the outside world. Right now in a controlled laboratory, it's a lot easier for them to obviously build the structure versus being out in the elements, water hitting them, all the different things that can happen. Yeah. So either way, this is a step with like 3D printing and robotics combined that really will benefit and step up the process of building. And maybe we can use this to utilize, like, helping out the homeless somehow. Cheap production of housing. Things like that.
That'd be a great idea. Because then, yeah, if you could have these robots sort of building the structure, the main structure from, like, a metal of some sort, and then fill it in with, like, 3D printed, like, walls or something along those lines with, like, a cheap material.
Yeah, exactly, man. There's got to be an alternative. I know hemp's a big thing right now in Europe. Cheap housing made out of hemp.
I heard that almonds are almond growers are looking at a way to repurpose the shells, and that they can be made into like some sort of lightweight plastic.
I can imagine that, like, mushing it up and making it into a paste of sorts.
Right. Like
Yeah.
Paper mache.
Shit, maybe you can even utilize that and transform that into a 3D printable material.
That would be interesting, sort of like a light-based wood pulp.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe you add like some type of natural gluing to it that makes it harden. I understand. Like another unrelated story I recently was reading is that some scientists have cracked the code of like ancient Rome's like concrete and stuff, because there's some type of reason in that lasts a lot longer than our concrete technology does, even to this day.
Right.
So now scientists have been trying to pick it apart, and they actually broke it down to the chemical reaction, and they figured it out. So it's like, I feel like it's all science, there's a way to make it to where you can utilize any type of material and just make it compound better together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that'd be cool if we could solve the housing crisis with robots.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it really would, man. And then another little fun fact, no surprise, Albert Einstein actually was a student at this institute back in the day.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah,
in Zurich, you said?
Yeah, he's one of their infamous alumni.
That's crazy.
Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've been behind a lot of robotics movements. So
we're moving on to more robots. Now, I got a question for you on this one.
Okay.
Would you fly in a plane with no pilot, just like computer equipment?
No, and no.
Well,
I barely trust a human, let alone I don't trust a robot.
It's the way of the future, apparently, because pilotless planes could save the airlines $35 billion if anyone's willing to actually, fly in them.
I'm good.
This
would you?
I don't know. Maybe if it was, I have a theory on how it's gonna go. I'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to say this is off of theconsumerist.com, and they said that there are businesses that are already looking into doing this in the upcoming future, and the way that I feel like I would end up getting on is not knowing. I don't think they're gonna let people know which ones are flown by people and which ones are flown by...
Well, you'll notice that the pilot's not chilling in the entrance when you walk on, like how he's normally greeting you.
Well, usually, I don't see the pilot that often. I see the pilot more at the airport terminal, more than I do on the plane itself. So I think they could easily sneak it past that it's actually no pilot up there.
Just like
and
crew members.
Most of the planes, like flying and landing and stuff like that, are done by computer anyway.
True, it is like an autopilot, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you're not alone in not wanting to fly. Out of 8,000 people, they found that 54% of them would not be willing to fly in a pilotless plane, while 17% said, okay, I'll go for it.
Fuck that, dude. I would not take a chance. I couldn't. I mean, maybe after I saw a shit ton of statistics about pilotless flights. But until then, I just don't trust it, man. Trust no robots, people.
They're thinking that younger people will be their group to aim for that demographic. They're thinking younger people will be more willing to kind of give it the risk and trust a computer over a person.
Yeah. I could see it. It's usual, like, as you're raised with more and more technology, it's easier for you to accept it over taking.
They also said that it could bring down the price of the ticket, but I highly doubt that. If they could save $35 billion, they'll just pocket that shit.
Yeah, the tickets might go down like a few dollars, but they're mainly gonna pocket that fucking increase. Let's be real. Nobody's looking for increases so they can help out the people they're selling this shit to. They're all about how can I get away with the highest price and still seem legit.
Yeah, it's all about the profit. I mean, that's what businesses are about. It's just it's weird with the airline industry because you even saw it where like the price will fluctuate.
Yeah,
much. So you could end up
daily.
paying like an extra. One day, like 2 days difference, you could be paying an extra $300. So I think the airline industry is kind of weird in general.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be more kinds of regulations to keep it so it doesn't fluctuate like that. I don't know what the idea is behind that fluctuation.
But then you don't get those crazy last-minute deals where it's like $99 to France. Oh shit!
Oh
Fucking
shit!
fly out.
We going out this weekend.
Because they'll have people like cancel last minute, and then they're like, "Oh, we got a ticket," and they got to sell it real quick.
We need to fill the spot. Critical thinking will get you there, man. And new research is showing that microdosing might actually help with critical thinking.
Ah.
Yeah. So in Silicon Valley, a lot of people I've heard, I've heard it in different articles and different documentaries. A lot of the higher ups are actually microdosing LSD and mushrooms. And microdosing, to give you an idea, is really where you just take 1/20th of what you would do to take a psychedelic trip. But it actually increases your creativity, your happiness. And there's been no statistics behind it. So now Sarah Fielding of the Beckley Foundation is trying to get together some actual hard evidence to back this theory.
That's good. I'm glad they're actually doing research into it.
Yeah, and it comes from just experience of different people, man. Her own experience is they used to play ancient Chinese games. This ancient Chinese game called Go, and she
I've
found
always wanted to play that. I've never gotten the chance to.
What is it? Do you know what it is roughly? I don't know this game.
I want to say it's like something like checkers. I could be completely wrong, but I know that they had like that computer Watson from IBM play it against.
It's not that Starboard, is it?
No, that's like Chinese checkers, I think. But Go, I'm not sure. That's like I said, I never got the chance to play it, but I've heard about it a lot. I've heard it's a pretty challenging game.
Well, she found that the more games, she won a lot more games when she was on LSD. Against people that she knew well. She was actually able to, her problem solving was enhanced from the LSD actually.
And I would say it's important the fact that it was people that she knew well, so it's people that she'd play against regularly. So that sort of,
True.
She has a baseline for win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. But then if she takes it and she's winning more, that's kind of a standout in the statistics.
Yeah, and again, there's little evidence. There really is a few people that are actually backing the evidence, so now it's just admitting. James Fadiman, a researcher at Sophia University, has received 1,000 reports from different people with their experience of microdosing, and he's starting to collect it and analyze it with his partner, and they're really getting somewhere with it. They're presenting their work at the Psychedelic Science Conference, which is basically a conference involving trying to get all this statistics out there that there's actual beneficial use of psychedelic drugs.
That's awesome. I didn't know there was a conference for it.
yeah, me neither, man, until I read this article. And some people say it could be a placebo effect. The body is a weird thing. You give the placebo and your body will miraculously heal it.
Possibly.
Possibly. But they're completely denying that this is any type of placebo effect, that it actually is the LSD, and magic mushrooms can do the same effect.
I could see that, and it's interesting all the anecdotal evidence that comes in, but a lot of times you can't research these kinds of things because of the laws that are currently on the books.
Exactly.
Which I never understood why those don't get lifted for research.
Yeah, you would feel the research would be a free area.
Yeah.
We need to find out what the fuck's going on.
We need to know what happens when we give squirrels heroin.
Yeah.
Hey, stop tying the nuts. There's more nuts.
There's more nuts, man. Calm down.
So we're going to outer space for our final little bit here in the tech segment. We're going to talk about the Cassini spacecraft's grand finale. Now, the Cassini is a satellite. It's a Discovery type satellite that has been launched towards Saturn, and it's been up in space for a long fucking time.
Okay.
And its time is finally coming to an end. Sadly, but beautifully. It will crash into the planet of Saturn on the 15th, which is this week. So if you're listening to this podcast on the date it comes out, on the 15th of September, you can go to, I want to say NASA is going to have a live stream or something along the lines of that. They put up a couple of videos showing what's going to happen in like an animation type of thing, which caught my eye. And I started to do a little bit of research, and I realized, like, oh shit, we can like do a little shout out saying like the Cassini's grand finale is going to happen, and people want to catch it, they can try and catch it. Saturn.jpl.nasa.gov is Cassini's grand finale, or you can just go to do Cassini spacecraft and search NASA. But
watch it. Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking crazy if they got some sort of video recovered from this, because it's gonna be taking data the whole way down, and it's been orbiting Saturn for a while now, since I want to say it operated. Its duration for its mission was 19 years total, so it's been up there for 20 years.
Christ, man.
Yeah.
It's been up there since like 98.
Yeah.
We were in elementary school like then, like Jesus.
Seriously, like 5 years old or something.
Yeah, not that young, but still.
I can't do math this late into the podcast. You know I've been drinking.
Well, I think you were 9 and I was 10. I'll do the math for us.
So, yeah, be sure to check out anything that comes off of the NASA website about the Cassini grand finale. Even just check out the YouTube video. We're going to put it up on our Facebook because it's fucking beautiful. It looks like planet Earth,
crazy.
but this is planet Saturn.
It's fucking crazy, man. Jesus. All things
beautiful.
must come to an end.
Just this episode.
As this episode, yeah. Check out our Facebook and our Instagram. All you got to do is search American Slacker Podcast, and you'll find us there. Check out our main hub, AmericanSlackerPodcast.com. And also, if you want to send us an email, it's AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to find us on Spotify, where you can find all the artists that we cover on this show, and you'll be jamming in no time. Search American Slacker Podcast.
You can also find us on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast. Please rate and review us on iTunes. 5 stars or nothing. And please, if you have a friend who enjoy the show, tell them about us. You can send them over to the YouTube channel if they do not know how to work the podcast app. We have all of our newest episodes and our bonus content all going up there. And if you want even more bonus content, become our Patreon sponsor, where you will get rewards, which we kind of did a little different now. If you take a look over at the Patreon site, you'll see that we've eliminated all the tiers. Any level that you donate at, you get all the rewards, so it's completely open now.
You get all of it. Hell yeah.
We're giving it all to you, which means you get a shout out like we gave to the 3 people, well, more than 3, 2 podcasts and a person up at the top of the show. You can also ask us a question. We'll add you to our Xbox friends list. Whole bunch of shit, so check out our Patreon.
And also, we're calling out any animators. If you know one, if you are one, we need to get in touch with you. We're looking at a project in the future, and we need some help. So get at us, people. We need some decent animating skills. And don't forget to stalk us on our personal lives. You can check me out on Instagram at MWG Media, and my Snapchat and gamertag are Matty G from HP.
And for all of my social media, you can find me at Landers the Plane.
Well, thanks for tuning in, people. We love every single one of you. Until next time, that's it.
There you go.